make sure I get everything set up correctly. We're looking pretty good here. Hey everybody. Debo here. I want to be very productive today, so I just wanted to do a video discussing something I dealt with today, and it'll be very short, straight to the point. Fishing on rifts is by far the most aggravating and frustrating thing I've done in a while. I've never really done it. I usually just kind of go with the flow, focus on perfecting my gear. I never really focus on just running runs over and over again. Let me tell you, fishing is ridiculous in this game. Now, to be fair, I will say this much. I was trying to fish a 57 today on Carnival, and that was pretty bad because my gear is nowhere near it needs to be. But the thing I realized is that the only thing you could do to improve your build is by leveling up your character. And when I mean leveling up your character, I mean perfecting all the gear. So there's going to come to a point when you get all the gear on your character situated. And we'll just talk predominantly towards seasons. We won't talk to non-seasons, because non-seasons is a whole nother monster. And the people who were able to get their gems to like high ridiculous levels will have the advantages, because there's no way you're going to be able to compete against a guy who has level 85 gems on non-season, unless you have some of your own. But let me just show you something crazy, right? Okay, that gem's level 74 on the historic. That one's 85. That one's 83. That is monstrous. But I guess it's just how it is. Seasons, it's not too bad. Seasons, let me see here. On seasons, 64. It's not bad. I mean, that's realistic. I mean, you can do about 60 with Carnival. 64, you know, that's 59. It's reasonable. 85, I don't know. Unless you were able to get it in when they had some things where you could play around the trial rifts and exploit some things. But, yeah. Anyways, fishing is terrible for every class. Because once you get a certain type of gear, you get all your stuff, you get your Hellfire, you get your gear set up, you get all your equipment, you get the perfect rolls. We're talking about everybody pretty much got all the perfect rolls and perfect everything ancient, and we're all sitting there with our stuff and we're looking cool. We're like, all right, we're all sitting here. We all got our ancient items. We're all sitting here with everything we got. Everybody's pretty much equal. The only thing that really can make a difference after that point is if you have a higher level Paragon, which means more points in Inter Vitality. Let's just say everybody's at 1,000 Paragon. Let's say everybody has a regular gear. Everybody has the same gym, same setups. What it's actually going to come down to towards the end is just like it's always been for all these seasons, but fishing is absolutely probably the most depressing thing ever. At least if beforehand, currently on live, if you finish the rift and you don't beat it, you get your gym level upgrades, but I understand why they had to take that away, because people were abusing that as well too. In the future patch, they really conditioned a lot of stuff. Zombies and skeleton runs, you don't get those a lot anymore, and that's understandable, but I ran about, and this is a small amount, I know people run more. I ran about 50 runs with Carnival today, and if it looked like a bad run, I would just leave. Out of those 50 runs, I had about maybe 4 or 5 that was actually beatable, but either I got a bad Rift Guardian or I had a bad moment, like, you know, right before I was able to spawn Rift Guardian, I got a really bad pack. It looked like, okay, well, we'll just say about 3 or 4 times. More like 3. So there was 3 times when I had plenty of time, but then I just got I got cold snapped 3 times. Like, out of all those times, I had a good chance to beat it. And let me tell you, that was really crazy, because that guy pretty much manhandled me and killed the run. And the only thing I've been noticing so far is that I think that's kind of crazy. It's like a loot pinata. I can agree with looking for certain pieces of gear, using it for your character in order to get everything situated, and that being RNG, but the rifts, having that system where it's just you're just hoping to get like good set of spawns and good mob density, and then you're worrying not getting in too many reflect packs, or you hope you don't get any exarchs or anarchs. You just want skeletons and zombies, simple shit. And then you stress all throughout. You hope you get some good pylon placement so you can get the benefits of that. And then you get shut down by a Rift Guardian. That is probably the most depressing thing. Huh. So, I mean, I don't think Blizzard's going to change it anytime soon. I think when they do things such as when they alter certain monsters to give more certain type of gain on your meter than others, I think that's going to assist and help out a lot. And that will make things a little bit better. But overall, in terms of their system, I mean, it's not going to be that hard to spam rips over and over again. As you saw, I was spamming 57. I had no avail today. But the one thing I do notice is that as long as you have plenty of keys, I guess, like you said, have a ton, you can just spam them endlessly until you actually beat it and rank up what you need to do. I just think overall they need to look into that. I don't think they're going to, but let me tell you, man, that's probably some of the most depressing shit. Just spamming the rift over and just hoping that everything aligns where you get that perfect run, because all you have to do is get it once. So, I guess I don't really know what the point I'm going with this video. Fishing is, it fucking sucks. Gearing up your character and getting every single piece of gear perfectly ancient with nice rolls and upgrading your Paragon, that's pretty cool. I enjoy that. Paragon's subjectable because you can bot that. Getting crafting mats is always fun and rewarding, and building up your gear, carrying, helping friends, and things of that nature. And actually progressing through the Greater Rift system is actually pretty cool. It's actually probably going to be very interesting for the new season that comes out. That's going to make it very interesting for doing Greater Rifts, because everything starts off from anew. But man, I feel bad for anybody who plays non-season, because that shit is cutthroat. You're gonna have to get some high level gems for that shit. But just for seasons, I don't think it's too bad. But hopefully in the future they look into making things a little bit more static. Maybe making it so that rifts have multiple floors. So like when this floor spawns, it's always going to have this type of monster type where it's kind of balanced out. So at least if you recognize it, you can kind of remember where everything's at. I don't really know if that will work for this game, but the amount of RNG in terms of what can happen for a certain build or how things go down is pretty crazy. Because at the end of the day, once we all start hitting the same levels, start hitting the same Paragons, same items, same gem setups, the only thing that's going to really differentiate us from other people is just, can we get lucky in a rift? And you might spend 8 hours or 9 hours a day and not get that clear, but I guess that just comes with the territory, and that's a pretty interesting system that they have. I would consider fishing one of the base core mechanics of the game that I think they need to go back and look into and rebalance it and look into maybe making things more, statistic, or not statistic, more like, what's the word I'm looking for? They need to make it more consistent. I think I already said that already. I might be a little tired. Been playing too much Diablo today. They could make it so all the levels have certain same monster spawns, and then when you go up higher levels, it increases the monster's difficulty and how much damage they hit and how much HP they have. And then what it really comes down to is like, how efficient can you play the build? Do you have all the best gear you can get, which I think is acceptable, and then actually can you recognize what map it is and then progress onward. And they can have 100 different maps and just randomize them. And eventually the good players will recognize some of them and some people won't, or at least put it in the power of the players so they kind of know, oh, on this map it has this kind of boss spawn and this kind of mob setup, which means I need to either leave or I need to, but then that would be another problem of fishing for like the rift that you want to beat it on, right? So it'd be very interesting. Or maybe they can do it based on an average system. It just averages your highest 3 clears and then they make that your ranking, which would be pretty cool, but I digress. But they really need to add a little bit more consistency into the rifts, and they need to think about having static rifts where certain levels are always going to be there. Maybe they could do something like where the first level's like a a gimme level where like the first stage, the first area, it has high mob density, pretty straightforward, and then as you go deeper and deeper, it's more and more difficult monsters. I would even prefer it that kind of way because it's a little discouraging when you get into a rift and like immediately you're shut down. What do you guys think? What do you guys think Blizzard should alter? What do you guys think they should do in terms of changing the Greater Rift system for the rifts? Do you think they should stay the same way it is? Do you think fishing's fine? Do you think they need to make it more consistent? I think if the system stays in its current place, that's kind of okay, but they could do a little couple things to make things a little bit less frustrating. But let me hear your comments. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm putting together a bunch of these guides and these videos together, one big release for the PTR and how we feel about everything, and then maybe we could bounce on some ideas and maybe submit it to the forum so Blizzard can see what's going on. But I definitely think they either need to make the map static with the same monsters, and then the only thing that's different is that when you go to higher difficulty levels, the monsters become harder, or they need to maybe scale it so that the first level always has a certain amount of mob density and is pretty consistent, and then the second and third stages, it starts to ramp up in difficulty. I think something like that could definitely help. I think in terms of competing for seasons is fantastic because everything starts off anew, and I think if you're going to basically play a character on the non-season, since they're going to be changing dynamically how the group gym system works and how people were to get gyms like really high level, I think what they should do is they should reset the gym levels. Unless you played season, you can use your season level, but they should reset the gym levels each season for non-season because some people are never going to get 85 unless some kind of glitch or something crazy comes through. I don't think anybody's going to solo 85. The people who got 85 gems were doing that shit like when like the current system used to be a certain way, and that's going to be really interesting because with non-season, people who can't get 85 solo or group won't be able to get their gems like that, how like some people did, because the gem system used to be in a way where you always had a 1% chance of upgrading your shit. But I guess it wouldn't matter because you could still do that. I guess what you could argue is that the person can just do whatever their highest rift is. Let's say the highest rift I can do is 70, right? But I can do 65 like every single time. I guess you would just have to run 65. And then you would have a 3% chance to upgrade your gym because as long as you successfully clear it, it's not a big deal. So I guess if Blizzard's okay with that, where you just basically you got a 3% chance to upgrade that gym for one level, and then your shit is at 65, and then everything past 65, it's like a 3% chance, and you want to get it up another 20 levels. That means a 3% chance, 20 more levels. That's a lot of failure. So it'd be interesting to see how they're going to handle that in the future. But anyways, man, I don't want to keep you guys. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys liked the video talking about the fishing and how you guys feel about it. Let me know again in the comments and all that good stuff. And my name is Debo, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Hope you guys have a good day.